Hey there, my name's Peter Pinto, and today we're going to talk about the one move America made that landed us all in the sickest, fattest country in the world. And I'm going to try my best to keep my composure. America for a very long time has held the title of fattest country in the world. Though we have recently been bumped to second place by Mexico, it still grows to be a bigger problem every day in our great country. We are considered one of the most health-conscious countries in the world, and yet we spend the most on healthcare, giving us another title of sickest country in the world. How can this be? It's a mystery. A Sherlock Holmesian conundrum, I say. We're America. We're supposed to be ahead of the game. If you find yourself in the fat or sick category, you're probably not doing at least one of two things everyone needs to do to be healthy. Number one, you're not exercising enough, or number two, you're not eating right. If this is the case and you know it, then why aren't you doing these things? Common answers to these questions are, you're lazy, you like food too much, you lack discipline, you lack motivation and willpower, and of course, it's genetic. And you know what? I hate those answers. I really do. I believe most people who really want to make a positive change in their life, like losing weight, changing their diet, exercising more, or quitting smoking, they want to do so, and they want to do so badly, yet they don't know where to start, or don't feel they have the energy to get started, or even start and fail because they can't handle the stress of changing habits while still having to maintain life, work, financials, all that stuff. These reasons just beat you down and make people feel like there's nothing that they can do about their health. Not cool. So today we're going to take a look back at what we believe was a major turning point in the USA, which confuses and foils our efforts to be active and healthy. Today we ask, what the f***, America? So let's get right into it. The one step America took which jettisoned us all down this swirling vortex of obesity, cancer, confusion, and medical debt.
You mean the swirling vortex of terror? That's it, dude!
Is fat. Dietary fat. Ask anyone what the healthy fats are, and they'll tell you that the heart and brain healthy fats are polyunsaturated fats from nuts and seeds and vegetable oils. And the unhealthy fats are saturated fats like animal fats. I'm about to take you on a voyage through time, which will reveal why the healthy dietary fats we are told to eat so much of are actually damaging our health and how it came to be, and a few other misleading results too. In a recent video, we talked about two ways your body makes energy: oxidative metabolism and hormonal regulation of blood sugar. In that video, I talked about sugar being our body's primary source of fuel, and yes, I'm stating sugar is a good thing and a necessary fuel. This video today was going to be about sugar in its most useful forms and how to best consume it, but you have to understand dietary fats before we can chat about sugar. By the end of this video, you'll understand why. Back to the fat. Let's just take a look from the most scientific view that there is. No, not some random studies, just some good old chemistry. There are three kinds of fat molecules: saturated fats, monounsaturated fats, and polyunsaturated fats. Saturated fat molecules look like this. It's a straight line of carbon atoms surrounded by paired electrons. These are the fats found in animal fats, which are solid at room temperature and are very stable molecules. Then you have monounsaturated fats, which look similar but have a double bond within the carbon atoms, which causes a bend. This allows monounsaturated fats to be in solid form or liquid form, like avocado or olive oils, and are also pretty stable. Finally, we have here a polyunsaturated fat molecule. These have multiple bends in them, making them a lot less stable. This makes it more vulnerable to a process called oxidation when it comes in contact with oxygen. So when these kinds of fats meet oxygen in your bloodstream, they break apart. This results in busted molecules with unpaired electrons running around in our body. A molecule with an unpaired electron is the exact definition of a free radical. And those are bad, right? Free radicals cause disease like cancer, which is also pretty prevalent nowadays, come to think of it, but I digress. So if chemically we know these fats cause problems, why are they so popularly touted as the cure to so many ailments? They reduce inflammation, though. Excess inflammation in the body is a sign of bad health. And yes, unsaturated fats can reduce inflammation in the body. Unfortunately, it does so by suppressing immune function. Discussed by Dr. Ray Peat in many of his articles and books, and dozens of studies showing unsaturated fats damage the cells of the thymus, which is your immune system, The decrease in inflammation in the body is due to a diminished inflammatory response as a result of the damage caused by the essential fatty acids. Most of the studies supporting the claim that unsaturated fats decrease inflammation are statistical. If 1,000 people with excessive joint inflammation take fish oil and all 1,000 of those people experience a decrease in inflammation, yes, they can publish the fact that fish oil can decrease inflammation. But it still did so by damaging their immune system. You see where I'm going with this? Okay, so then how the hell did we get to this point? To take a chapter out of the book, The Oiling of America by Sally Fallon and Mary Enig, it started back in the 1920s. Between the 1920s and 50s, America was experiencing a heart disease epidemic with just a few hundred people dying of heart attack in the 1920s and 30s to over 500,000 people dead of heart attack by the 50s. At the time, corn oil and margarine were being pushed hard in the food world as healthy alternatives for animal fats like butter, cream, and lard. This led some doctors to believe this heart attack problem was being caused by the growing presence of trans and unsaturated fats in the American diet. They thought, maybe we should stop eating all of these vegetable oils and stick to the animal fats. But there was a competing theory, which you may have even heard uttered by your doctor, nowadays called the lipid hypothesis, aka the diet heart theory. This theory proposed that the American diet is overflowing with fatty foods and cholesterol from animal fats, which cause high blood cholesterol, leading to the buildup of plaque in our arteries, resulting in heart attack death. So, a study was initiated by the American Heart Association, which was founded at the time to try to figure out the cause of all these heart attack deaths. The study was called the Anti-Coronary Club, where a number of businessmen between the ages of 40 and 59 years old were split into two test groups with two different diets, and they would be observed over a 10-year span. One group ate the average American diet of the time of red meat, multiple times a day, high cholesterol foods such as eggs, and used butter and lard to cook with. The other group was put on what was called the prudent diet, which replaced red meats with chicken and fish, eggs with cold cereals, and butter and lard with corn oil and margarine. Sounds somewhat familiar, right? Fast forward 10 years, and it's 1966. The study found that the men on the classic American diet had an average cholesterol number of 250, while the average cholesterol number of the men on the prudent diet was 220. Success, right? Well, they had proven the prudent diet, consisting of primarily unsaturated fat, lowers cholesterol. Okay, cool. But you knew there was going to be more to this story, right? I'll let Sally drop this bomb on you. Sally, take it away.
If you read the whole article, which many doctors don't do, they just read the abstracts, and got to the very end, you'd find a paragraph that was in very small print, so small that you'd have to put your reading glasses on to read this. You might think it was a footnote to this article. And if you read that paragraph, you would find out that the men on the prudent diet who had lower cholesterol had 8 deaths from heart attack during the period of the study. And the men who were not on the prudent diet, who had higher cholesterol, had no deaths from heart attack during the studies.
So wait, 8 dudes died of heart attack? The disease that we were trying to prevent with this new diet? Dead. And no one died in the other group? With the red meat and stuff? Okay, so I'm still being told to eat this way 60 years later because why? Really? Why? Okay, look. I know why. It's the money, right? It's money in politics. That's what it always boils down to. No, Jen, I just bullshit. Okay, I'm back. Something I didn't tell you was that the American Heart Association was actually founded to promote the lipid hypothesis and the prudent diet. And of course, it was backed by the very powerful, very rich members of the edible oil industry and their lobbying group called the Institute for Shortening and Edible Oils, which included members from companies like Procter & Gamble. The most impactful part of this study was more or less swept under the rug to clear a path for the vegetable oil industry to become the multi-billion-dollar industry it is today. Further studies were manipulated, laws and policies were changed over the years, and pharmaceutical drug companies piggybacked on the shoulders of this massive industry in order to sell drugs like statins. If you recall that number I previously mentioned of 220, that's the cholesterol number you can't be over without a doctor trying to prescribe you cholesterol-lowering statin drugs. Well, around the time statins were invented, that 220 number labeled around 40% of all Americans having high cholesterol. And now the statin drug industry is valued at $29 billion. Talk about fast money. The last point I want to make is about sugar. So how did sugar get involved in all of this and get the short end of the stick? Well, unsaturated fats impede glucose oxidation, the process of burning sugar for energy. And here we are 50 plus years later, still trying to figure out what's causing us to be so sick and fat. And at some point, the unsaturated fat industry decided to point the finger at sugar. Sugar became the most obvious choice as a scapegoat to divert the attention away from unsaturated fats. If you're eating a lot of sugar with a diet high in unsaturated fat, then yeah, you're gonna store a lot of that sugar as fat. But if you didn't have so much unsaturated fat in your diet, you'd be more capable of using sugar properly in the energy production process. Disclaimer, don't just all of a sudden stop eating unsaturated fats and load up on sugary foods. Over time, it is what you do want to do, but it's a process. A book I love recommending to my clients is called How to Heal Your Metabolism by Kate Deering. She follows the same concepts and tells her unique story of how she, over time, moved away from the traditional healthy American diet and towards a style of eating inspired by Dr. Ray Peat. You know, we started off the video asking in more of an inquisitive way, hey, what the f***, America? And now we're finishing this video off asking in a sad, more rhetorical way, what the f***, America? If you like this video, please click that like button as it really does help the channel, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. My name's Peter Pinto, this is Fit Life Fusion, and until next time, keep living that fit life. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, corn is hard to say with a Boston accent. Corn on a cob.